He looked at me that night with eyes that wanted something forbidden. At 44 years old, I thought I understood my life completely. My name is Diana, and for 17 years, my husband Marcus and I had woven something beautiful together, a marriage built on mutual respect, comfortable silence, and the kind of love that doesn't shout but whispers steadily through the years. We never had children. That choice was made together, without regret, though sometimes I wondered what might have been. Our home was peaceful. Our careers were fulfilling. Our evenings were spent reading side by side, occasionally glancing up to share a thought or a smile. It was enough. More than enough, actually. I never imagined that a single Saturday evening would force me to question everything I believed about myself. Marcus's younger brother had invited us to celebrate his son Nathan's 24th birthday. Family gatherings were something I genuinely enjoyed. There was warmth in those rooms, stories exchanged over good food, and the comfort of belonging to something larger than yourself. Nathan had always occupied a special place in my heart. I had watched him transform from a shy, awkward teenager into a confident, ambitious young man. When he struggled with his college applications, I stayed up late reviewing his essays. When his first serious relationship ended badly, I was the one who listened without judgment. In many ways, I had become something between an aunt and a mentor, a safe harbor when life felt overwhelming. That evening, the celebration was exactly what you'd expect. Candles flickered on a homemade cake. Laughter bounced off the walls. Glasses clinked in endless toasts to youth, success, and whatever the future might hold. Marcus, usually measured in his drinking, let himself go that night. Perhaps it was the joy of the occasion, or simply the relief of having no responsibilities the next day. Either way, by midnight, he was leaning heavily against my shoulder, his words slightly slurred, his smile loose and carefree. Nathan noticed immediately. He crossed the room with purpose, concern evident in his expression. "Let me help you get him to the car," he offered quietly, already positioning himself on Marcus's other side. Together, we navigated the porch steps and settled my husband into the passenger seat. The night air was cool against my skin, carrying the faint scent of jasmine from a neighbor's garden. "I should follow you home," Nathan said. "Make sure you can get him inside safely." I hesitated. Marcus wasn't particularly heavy, and I had managed similar situations before. But something in Nathan's voice, perhaps the genuine worry or simply the kindness behind it, made me agree. The drive was short and uneventful. Nathan's headlights trailed behind mine like a protective shadow. When we arrived, he helped me guide Marcus through the front door and down the hallway to our bedroom. My husband mumbled something incoherent about the excellent wine before collapsing onto the bed, already drifting toward sleep. I removed his shoes, covered him with a blanket, and watched his chest rise and fall in the steady rhythm of deep rest. 17 years of marriage had taught me the landscape of this man's face, every line, every shadow, every expression. In that moment, I felt a surge of gratitude for the life we had built together. When I returned to the living room, Nathan was standing near the window, staring out at the empty street. His posture was different now, shoulders slightly hunched, hands shoved into his pockets. Something had shifted in the short time I was gone. "Would you like some water before you head back?" I asked, already moving toward the kitchen. He followed without answering. I filled 2 glasses and handed one to him. The kitchen was dim, lit only by the soft glow of the stove light. Outside, the neighborhood slept. Inside, silence pressed against us like something physical. "Diana," he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. "Can I talk to you about something? Something I've never told anyone." I nodded, setting my glass on the counter. His expression was pained, conflicted, the look of someone standing at the edge of a confession they're not sure they should make. "I've been struggling," he began slowly. "Not with school. Not with work. With something else. Something I can't seem to understand or control." I waited, giving him space to find the words. "For the past 2 years, I've been carrying feelings that don't make sense. Feelings I'm ashamed of. Feelings that keep me awake at night because I know they're wrong." My heart began to beat faster. A quiet alarm sounded somewhere in the back of my mind. I've tried dating women my own age, he continued. I've tried focusing on my goals, distracting myself with projects and friendships. But nothing works. The feelings don't go away. They just grow stronger. He paused, and in that pause, I felt the weight of what was coming. Diana, I think I've fallen in love with someone I can never have. Someone who represents everything I want my future to look like: strength, kindness, wisdom, beauty. Someone who has shown me more genuine care than anyone else in my life. His eyes met mine, and in them, I saw the truth he was too afraid to speak directly. The kitchen suddenly felt smaller, the air thicker. My mind raced through 1,000 responses, but none of them seemed adequate for the gravity of this moment. Nathan, I said carefully, my voice steady despite the turmoil beneath it. I think I understand what you're trying to tell me. He looked away, shame coloring his cheeks. Please don't hate me, he whispered. I didn't choose this. I've tried so hard to make it stop. I took a deep breath. In that moment, I had a choice to make. One that would define not only this relationship but my own sense of who I was as a person. Listen to me carefully, I said, stepping closer but maintaining the distance that needed to exist between us. What you're feeling isn't love. Not the kind you think it is. He looked up, confusion and hope warring in his expression. When we're young and searching for our place in the world, we often confuse admiration for something more. We look at people who seem to have figured it out, who seem confident and settled and whole, and we mistake our desire to become them for a desire to be with them. I watched his face as my words landed, seeing the flicker of recognition beneath the hurt. I am your aunt. I've watched you grow from a boy into a man. I've listened to your dreams and your fears. I've offered you guidance because I genuinely care about your future. But that care, that connection, it isn't what you think it is. How do you know? He asked, his voice breaking slightly. How can you be so sure about what I feel? Because I remember being 24, I said gently. I remember feeling lost and uncertain and desperate for someone to show me the way. I remember attaching myself to people who seemed to have answers, believing that closeness to them would somehow transfer their certainty to me. I moved to the small table near the window and sat down, gesturing for him to do the same. Nathan, what you're looking for isn't me. It's the version of yourself you hope to become. The stability, the confidence, the sense of purpose. Those things exist inside you already. You just haven't learned to access them yet. He sat across from me, his hands wrapped around his untouched glass of water. It feels so real, he admitted. When I'm around you, everything feels calmer.